The closer we got to the volcano, the harsher and more challenging the landscape became. We passed through a marshy area and found ourselves on an immense hill of petrified lava. A light fog drifted through the air, lifted like a sheet of fluttering in the wind. The solidified lava on the ground was in a strange pattern of brown bands and waves that joined and separated. It formed intriguing designs, but was very difficult to trust. Our horses struggled and whined, looking for solid spots to place their hooves. It was straining to move forward on the difficult landscape. You see, nephew, soon our efforts will be rewarded, my uncle said. All this lava indicates that the volcano is nearby. According to my calculations, we only have about 7 miles to go today. I felt myself grow faint. 7 miles? I can't go any further. I can't feel my legs. My uncle scoffed. Come on, my nephew, no excuses. You're young and strong. But I was sure that he too was exhausted from the climb. After what we felt like an endless amount of time, we finally arrived at the village of Stapi, located right at the foot of the Snaefell's volcano. The village was made up of only 3 or 4 houses. The volcano that loomed above the impressive with its 4 year-round mantle of snow, 2 peaks and craters open to the sky. I started to worry. Are we sure that it's no longer active? My uncle reassured me. You heard Mr. Fridriksson. The volcano has been dormant for 500 years. We'll climb down inside it with no problem. Hans observed us. My uncle hadn't told him what the true goal of the journey was. As far as he knew, we only wanted to see Snaefells from up close, not descend into one of its craters. My uncle took me aside. Maybe we should ask Hans to come with us to the center of the earth. What do you think? I quickly replied. I agree. Hans has been a great help so far, and since he's so quiet and reserved, I'm sure he'll easily keep our secret. That made my uncle smile. He approached Hans and said, My dear mouse, I officially invite you to come with us to the center of the earth. I know that it sounds a bit dangerous, one could say, but Hans didn't hesitate for an answer. He replied, Very well. He was truly unbelievable. It was as though he agreed to climb down into the volcanoes every day. The next day, after leaving the horse on the slope of the volcano with a good supply of food and water, Hans urged us to put on our climbing harnesses to scale the peak. Then he took a strong rope and tied us all together. This way, if one of us slipped, the others two could help pick him back up. And so, guided by the unparalleled Hans, we began to scale Snaefells. The terrain was steep, and the basalt walls, a kind of volcanic rock, was slippery. Halfway up, I was panting. Puff, pants, how much further? My uncle gasped. Huff, puff, we're almost there, stay strong. The snow-covered double peak jutted up above us. How often happens in the mountain? As often happens in the mountains when we look at it. It seemed as though we could almost touch it, but we were still very far away. The ground was covered with layers of peat, soil that is formed by plants decaying in water. As we went on, the rocks around us became different colors, black, then red, then gray. And as we climbed higher and higher, the air turned cold, then frigid, then icy. Brr! When we'd almost reached the top, an enormous cloud surrounded the peak of the mountain like a cloak. It got very dark. Suddenly, boom! Lightning tore through the clouds and great rumble thunder made everything shake. Great Buddha, the storm was close. I could tell that my uncle was worried for the first time during the journey. In fact, he immediately shrieked at the top of his lungs. Quick, we must find shelter, otherwise we'll be in trouble. Luckily, Hans stayed calm. What an impressive mouse! He led us to the peak of the mountain and then to an opening in the rock nearby, which offered us dry shelter for the night. Even though we were safe, I thought it would never. I thought I would never fall asleep because of the rumbling thunder, the pounding rain, and wailing wind. However, I was so exhausted I almost immediately fell into a deep and dreamless slumber.